who is the #1 installer in the country of Feynlab products?
We are. We are.
I'm Bill. I'm with Corey, and we're at CoaterZ, which is our paint protection shop in Palm Harbor, Florida. And we like to think we are the premier paint protection shop in the Tampa Bay area and pretty much anywhere. And I don't think I'm bragging when I say that. Corey, we're a paint protection shop, so let's talk about paint protection and what it is, and how we approach it. We basically do ceramic coatings and we do paint protection film. Those are the two major strategies for paint protection, right?
Yes. Yes.
And so why do people do either one of those things? What do our customers come to us?
For multiple things. For paint protection, or PPF they call it, paint protection film. They do it for rock chips from the front end of your vehicle, scratches, debris hitting the front of your car. It stops light oxidation, sun fading, and it really it's a real thick film that adds a huge barrier over your car that protects your car.
That's paint protection film.
Yes.
Now what about ceramics?
So ceramics that blocks oxidation, fading, stops things from scratching it. Some of our coatings actually stop scratching or actually heal scratches, and that actually makes it easier for you to wash your car, but that is it's like micron thick, hairs thick, versus a film which is like millimeters thick.
Okay, so essentially the paint protection film is actually a transparent film, very, very thin, that gets applied over the finish of the car, correct?
Correct, yes.
And ceramics is a chemical, sort of a pasty, like a liquid.
Yeah, it's a clear chemical that actually bonds and penetrates into the paint and adds like a light crystalline coating on top of the car.
Now, what is it that what are some of the benefits of one versus the other?
Okay, so one versus the other. Paint protection film is great for the front of the car because it stops rock chips. It actually stops them. It stops scratches. It stops things from just damaging your car. And it's a film, so it has a lot more durability towards it. Now, ceramics, it stops scratches, but very light scratches. It becomes scratch resistant. It does not stop rock chips. It won't stop rock chips. Mm-hmm. It does stop oxidation. It does stop fading. And it makes your car a lot easier to clean versus PPF. It doesn't do it.
What about shine, one versus the other? The finish. What does it look? How does one look versus the other?
I would say they look equally if done right.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
If done right, they look equally.
And which is easier or harder to apply?
Well, that depends. So, paint protection film is unique per installer. So, generally speaking, someone that isn't used to PPF can't do PPF, versus someone that's not versed in doing ceramics couldn't do it either. But so, paint protection film is, I guess, equally as hard as ceramics.
All right. Well, let's talk about the film for a second. I know we've had a lot of cars in here where people do the entire car with PPF film, right?
Yes.
But you, a lot of times suggest that they just do the front of the car, correct?
Yeah. So wrapping the whole entire car, a lot of people do it. Personally, I think in the paint protection business, wrapping a car, the full car, you're down for 5 days. Unless you have a ton of installers here and they're just working on your car nonstop. But we wrap the front end of the car, which gets the brunt of the action of the debris, the things hitting it, and then we ceramic coat the back half. The reason why we do that is we stop the oxidation, we stop the fading, make it easier to clean, we make it shiny, but the price is significantly different.
So sometimes we're actually applying both of our major products to the same car.
Yeah.
PPF on the front, ceramics to the rear.
Generally speaking, we do that per the client. Now, it depends on what the client wants to stop. If the client wants to stop rock chips on the front of his car, we recommend PPF, and if he wants to stop oxidation and waxing, we do that vice versa.
One thing that's kind of interesting about ceramics is you can get a ceramic product that actually self-heals, correct?
Yes.
Why don't you speak to that a little bit?
Okay, so we have a ceramic coating that is a 5-year and a 7-year, and they will actually, you can lightly scratch. Now, when I mean scratch, you can lightly scratch these, and you can pull them in the sun, and they will go back to its original state. It's by magnetic molecules, if I'm quoting this right. Is when that molecule chain is broken, it goes back in the sun and it snaps back.
Is it accurate to say that it sort of melts in the sun?
Yeah, I mean, in easy terms, you could say.
I mean, that might not be the technical
explanation. I say it melts. That's the easiest way to explain it to somebody. It's probably not the technical way, but it melts back to its original state.
Yeah. How long do the applications last? If somebody comes in and gets ceramics or gets PPF, how long can they expect that protection to last?
So, I'll touch on paint protection film. Paint protection film will generally last anywhere from 5 to 7, 10 years. They give you about 10 to 12 year warranty on them, but ultimately at the end of the day, everything's going to deteriorate. I don't care if it's ceramics or PPF, so you typically get 5 to 7 years. Ceramics will, let me finish paint protection. Paint protection will, it will start to turn yellow, it will start to crack, it will start to fade, change colors. When going bad, then you have to get it removed. Ceramic coating, that will last anywhere from 1 to 10 years or a lifetime if properly maintained without having the hassle of removing it.
Yeah, and with the ceramics, there's different products that, like you have a 1 year, you have a 5 year, you have say even a 7 year, right?
Yes.
And when I say 5 or 7 years, that's a 5 year warranty or a 7 year warranty.
Correct. It means so you're not buying just a warranty, but you get the 1 year, 3 year, and a 5 year. When those are traditional coatings, those will warranty through Feynlab, which is our installer, 1 to 5 years. Mm-hmm. That means that will last 5 years on the car.
And Feynlab is the product, the ceramic product that you use exclusively, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the only product we use.
And who is the #1 installer in the country of Feynlab products?
We are. We are.
That's a leading question.
Yes.
Right?
We are.
So you're proud of that, right?
Yes, absolutely. It worked really hard to get here for that.
Yeah. And CoaterZ has been in business how long?
We're going on 3 years.
Not quite 3 years.
Not yet, but I'm a little ahead of myself.
So you got that #1 position in less than 3 years.
I got it less than 2.
Less than 2 years. Okay. You're bragging now. How do you install the ceramics, and what differentiates CoaterZ from many other shops?
So what makes us different from any other shop is when I got certified through Feynlabs, they taught me how to do it a certain way in the best way it should be done. And that way is we follow that to the T. And a lot of other shops don't really know that or don't do it because of the cost of it. But so I'll explain it. We wash it, we decon it, we clay bar it, and then we also paint correct it. And once we paint correct it, we use a ceramic primer. And that ceramic primer is pretty much your foundation to your ceramics. It starts the general foundation for your ceramics to cure to your paint. And I can't say how many shops don't do that, but they don't. So we do that. That's like the #1 thing that we do. We use a ceramic primer, and then we use the ceramics, and then we put a top coat on top of it as well, just because we have a product called Overcoat, and it is supposed to be a super hydrophobic, and it's the Overcoat is called a 1 year. It's a 1 year product, but it's like a sacrificial layer, we call it, and it will last a whole year, and you come back and then you still got a 5 year coating under it, and so you get the best for the money that you spent here.
That sounded like, I was counting, that sounded like 6 separate steps.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, and so not everybody does that.
No.
So you may get a shop that'll do 3 of those steps maybe.
Yeah.
Or 2 even.
Typically, yeah.
Okay, so when a customer comes to you and asks you about ceramic coatings, and you give them a price, and they say, well, I can get it done cheaper down the street, what do you say to that?
Well, I generally ask them, I don't ask them. I usually tell them that they're probably not getting the same type of quality work that we're doing here at CoaterZ.
Because of the steps.
Because of the steps and of the shortcuts that we don't take.
Yeah.
We don't take the shortcuts at all.
So how does a customer guard against that? How do they know, how do they find out, or how can they be assured that they're getting a multi-step factory-trained application?
I mean, you can become factory-trained and not
and
follow
still
the
not
steps.
do it. Yeah.
You know, I guess I would say do your research. Check with who you're doing business with. Now, a guy may be doing 3-year coatings and not following any of those steps and just slapping coating on cars, and he might do a lot of them because he does them for really cheap.
Yeah.
But if you were to call Feynlab and then ask them about CoaterZ, they would say we're the best, and we do it to the T every single time.
So I think typically the customer that walks in here is somebody whose first question or first issue is the quality of the job.
Yeah.
It's not price, for example. It's the quality of the job. That's what they're
Generally,
looking for.
it's quality, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very rarely it's price, and if it is price, we'll explain why.
Yeah.
But we typically explain why from the get-go.
Now, what about with the same question as it applies to PPF?
Paint protection film?
Yeah.
So paint protection film is interesting too. The process to that is we wash it, we clay it, we actually decon the car as well, and then once we decon the car, we bring it inside and do some correction, whatever correction it has to be done. And from that point, once we have the car pristine and have it perfect to where we want it, we'll start laying out our patterns or how we're going to cut our patterns for the car. And that falls on what color is the car. And is it white? Does all the edges have to be past all the edges? Because if you do a standard kit on a white car, you're going to see a dirt line across the front of it every time it starts to get dirty. Versus a black car, you'll never see the film on there. So, so when we do it, we look at our patterns, how much we have to oversize and how much it will actually visibly see. So if we have a white car like this Tesla right here or this one right here, we'll oversize our patterns so we try to go past the edges and wrap all the edges so we don't end up with dirt lines on a white car.
Huh.
And then we install our film.
So that's I wouldn't say an extra step, but that's a step of care that you do to guard against.
Well, it is an extra step, but because if you're using software to cut the film, all the patterns are just standard patterns to go directly to the edge.
Oh yeah.
And typical shops will go directly to the edge, or some of them won't even wrap the edge, they'll just stay at the edge. So when we decide on our patterns, it's an extra step that we go in to oversize the patterns to manually make them fit. So that's something that we do.
And also the oversized patterns, I suppose, use a little more film, which is not free.
Yeah, not
right?
much, but yes,
Yeah.
it does use more film, but not much.
Yeah. Let's say a customer comes to you and wants paint protection but is undecided about whether to go with PPF, paint protection film, or ceramics. How do you counsel them? What do you tell them when they ask you that question?
Well, first we start off by asking what kind of car they have. And then we ask them what year the car is, how long they plan on keeping the car, if it's a lease, if it's not a lease. We ask them their driving habits, like are you driving on the interstate? Do you drive somewhere where there's a bunch of rocks and stuff that hit the front of your car? And then from that point on, we'll make a recommendation of what they should and shouldn't get. Typically, we always recommend something on the front bumper just to stop things from destroying the front bumper. And then from that point, if they say, they want to wrap the whole car, we'll wrap the whole car. But generally speaking, some people don't drive far enough to worry about rock chips. They go to and from the store and that's it. So we'll just ceramic coat the car and they'll be good and they're happy with that. But people that drive on the interstate or drive tons of miles, they need PPF.
Let's say I have a show car of some kind. I've got a Corvette or a Porsche, and I like to take it to shows and display the car and so forth. What would be the better product of the two?
How are you getting it there?
Well, good question. I guess I would say I'll drive it there.
Well, if you're driving it, I'd put PPF on the front bumper.
And ceramic the rest?
Ceramic the rest, yeah. I would do PPF, to a portion of it, of the best protected area, where the most hit areas, and I ceramic the rest. Because honestly, my personal opinion, I wouldn't wrap a full car.
So again, if I come in here and I have you do my car, what about maintenance? What do I have to do to maintain it?
Which one?
Well, both, either.
All right, so ceramics, maintenance is very important, and it's generally just the basics. If you get your car ceramic coated with a 3-year, 5-year, 7-year, whatever it is, you need to wash your car on a normal basis. And then you actually are supposed to treat your car with an SiO2 spray, which is like a silicon nitrate. I don't recall the exact name, but it enhances the ceramics and keeps the points sharp, so it keeps it glossy and it actually keeps it beating for you. And those are just the general maintenance. That's what you should do on a month-to-month or just a normal. If you get a car, you wash it. On a yearly basis, we call it an annual recoat, but it's not really here for the annual or for the recoat. It's here to get deconned. And what I mean by that is decon is a chemical that is sprayed on the car that gets the impurities out of the paint or the ceramic coating that clog everything. So like if you have your car coated and you noticed on the hood or the back end of the car and it's not beating as much as it was or efficiently, it could be a multitude of things. It could be the ceramics is flattening out, or the pores could be clogged. So if the pores are clogged, we clean it out with decon, it bounces right back, you're good to go. But what we generally do is, for our coatings, we decon and just do an overcoat on top of them. Yeah. It's a sacrificial layer.
But it's your advice that they bring the car back every year or some regular basis?
Yeah, I recommend everyone come back every year.
Yeah.
And not even that. I want to see the car. I want to make sure my product that I put on the car is still working to its fullest potential. And then honestly, when it comes back, I can see what's happening with the car. I can see who takes care of their car, and I can see who doesn't take care of their car. And then some people, I can suggest how to take care of their car, and they will take the advice, and it makes it that much easier.
Should they drive the car through a car wash?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No car washes. Car washes, not only will they rub the paint or the coating or whatever off your car, they will scratch your car. Now you can go to a touchless one, but touchless ones are still not recommended for coatings or PPF, because really touchless or ceramics is 9H. So 9H is the hardness of pencil lead. That's 9H. So think about that for a minute. If you're pressure washing your car and you are getting really close to it, or you go through a touchless car wash and that the pressure washer is really strong, what's happening? It's flattening or taking off or messing up your ceramics.
So they can bring it here and have you wash it?
Yeah, or they can have us come out mobily and do it.
Oh yeah. We're now doing mobile.
Yeah, we now do mobile detailing.
Yeah, so cool. Or they can do it themselves, and you sell products, Feynlab products, don't you, that for maintenance or washing?
Yeah, actually, so we have the Feynlab products that people can buy from us, but Feynlab actually just released a new product called Drip, which is more along the lines of geared towards the DIY people or the people that want to take care of their vehicles themselves, which means makes them more friendly to use and not so hard to use.
Okay. All right, talk a little bit about the PPF products and what it is you recommend and sell and so forth.
So generally we use Lumar Valor. Lumar Valor is a healing paint protection film without heat, and that is like right around 8 mils or something like that. The different packages that we offer, our general packages are front bumper and mirrors and headlights. That's just a basic package that we offer. And then we offer standard kit. Standard kit is your front bumper, your headlights, typically like 1/3 of your fender, 1/3 of your hood, and your mirrors. Pretty much high traffic areas, you're not going to keep this car long, you want to stop it from getting damaged. And then we offer full front ends. Full front ends is all the way to the doors plus the mirrors. And that typically is the best for light colored cars as this. And then we also have a package called the Track Pack. The Track Pack is the full front end, your rockers, and then your headers. Why we do that is because all the rocks that fly up off the road onto the rockers usually damage the rockers. And then the headers as well, because you usually get hammered by love bugs if you're traveling far.
Yeah.
Then we have full front end, or a full vehicle. A full vehicle is pretty much the whole entire vehicle.
Yeah.
And then one other thing that we do, we have the accessories package. Accessories package is typically like door edge guards, inside the door seals, around the trunk area where you might throw your golf carts or golf clubs in or something. And those are just the basic small things.
We've done some cars that in which we have changed the color, wrapped them in a different color, changed the look of the car entirely. What what is the difference between that and PPF wrapping?
Oh, so vinyl versus PPF.
Yeah.
So vinyl versus PPF. Vinyl film is usually thinner. It's dry applied. It's less expensive most of the time, and I want to say we get to skip a step when installing. We don't have to cut it on the plotter. It's kind of a little bit easier to install, I guess. Maybe probably be wrong on that though. But paint protection film costs more money. Has to be cut on the plotter, and it's thicker, so it lasts longer. So normally your paint protection film, colored film, you'll get like 5 years out of it. Vinyl in Florida, you're not going to get that. You're going to get a couple years.
We're changing the color on what is that, a BMW there?
Yeah, BMW M3 competition, I think.
And tell me what you're putting on that.
So that right there is getting a full matte wrap. So we're not really changing the color, but we're just slightly changing the color. So what we do is we take the original color of the car and we wrap it with a matte film, and it just makes it matte blue. And that's the end thing right now, honestly.
Yeah,
that is like
see that a lot.
Everybody wants matte, but I can tell you this: if you want matte PPF, you make sure you ceramic coat it. Absolutely.
Why?
Because it gets dirty fast.
It gets dirty fast. Okay.
It's not easy to. It's a pain.
Yeah.
So ceramic coat it for sure, because it doesn't stay clean.
Well, there.
So it's a PPF matte, and you then ceramic coat over that?
Yeah, I mean, it's recommended. We ceramic coat all our wraps, and well, anyone that wants them done, we ceramic coat the PPF in the wraps because it makes the makes the PPF clean easier, makes it last longer. Remember, ceramics stops oxidation, stops fading. So if it stops all those things and it's a UV protectant, what is it protecting? The expensive paint protection film you just put on your car.
The number of different products, if somebody decides they want ceramics, the next question is which ceramic product you want, right?
And then the question would be how long are you keeping your car, and what color is your car, and then we base it on that. So then we have a 1 year for people that generally have a lease or just might get rid of their car, or they just want a 1 year. They don't want a 5 year. Now, don't get me wrong. Our 1 year will last a very long time if it's maintained. It's just warranted for 1 year. Our 3 year, that's a thicker coating, and that will warranty for 3 years. But I mean, I'll give away a little secret. If you get a 3 year coating or a 5 year coating, and you come back every year for $199, you now have a lifetime coating, because now you're just keeping up on your coating. You're making sure your coating is working the whole time. So we have the 3 year, and then we have the 5 year. And the 5 year will last 5 years, just like 3 year, just will last a little longer. It is not a warranty. You're not buying a warranty. You're buying a thicker coating. It's a different product, completely different. So those are your traditional coatings. Those what a majority of shops have. Feynlab is the first ceramic coating company to come out with a healing coating. So we offer healing coatings. Our healing coatings are 5 years, 60% healing, 6 to 8 microns thick, and they get baked on with infrared lights, and they take 3 days. And then we have a 7 year, which we do a lot. We've actually got 4 7 years this week. Those are the Mac Daddy to all coatings. It's not like a single bottle, put it on. It's actually like a chemistry set. You mix these bottles together, you shake all this stuff up, you get these little different reactions, and it's kind of cool actually. And then you apply these on the car on top of each one another, and then you infrared bake those on. And it's 14 microns thick, 99% healing. It's the best coating on the market.
And people want that. You said you're doing how many this week?
4.
4 this week.
Yeah, we have 4 this week. Yeah. 4 this week. I mean, it was Black Friday, so we did run a phenomenal Black Friday sale. But yeah, and they're not easy coatings, so those take 3 days too. And key thing to all this is AC environment. I didn't even mention that. I forgot to mention that. AC environment, controlled climate. If you're doing this outside, it's not a good thing. It's not going to work out well.
And you got what, 6 bays here?
Yes.
And they're all air conditioned?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I can say we can say why. You can ask me the question like, why should I have AC on both of these applications? That's a really good question.
Okay. So talk about AC on these applications.
Having AC for paint protection film. Obviously, it keeps a cleaner environment, keep your doors down, keep the wind blowing not inside, keeps the dust circulating through the filters and whatnot. But really, it comes down to climate and your slip solution. So if you're doing this outside and it's freaking hot, and you're trying to get your PPF to not tack as fast, and you got your slip mix for yesterday that was doing really great, and all of a sudden it's hot and you're trying to get it to tack, and next thing you know, you got all these spots all over the hood and you're trying to figure out why. And it's because of your tack. So if you keep the temperature the same majority of the time in the shop, you won't have tacking problems, you won't have debris in your film, and it's climate control. You can control what's going on.
Yeah. And not every shop is climate controlled, right?
No.
Yeah.
No. Now ceramics, if you are wondering why it's important for ceramics being climate control, ceramics heals based upon humidity. So if it's normal one day and next day the humidity is really high in Florida, then your coatings can flash like that. If you have moving air next to it and the humidity is really high, it'll flash instantly fast. Now, if your coatings flash too fast, it just makes your coatings weaker, and they're not really 3-5 year coatings. Now, don't get me wrong, there's coatings, people do coatings out there mobily, and they probably work great, but part of the recommendation is climate control. Why is climate control so important is because if you're buying a 5 or a 7 year coating, you have to do it in a climate controlled area.
So you have a mobile unit, and you have people that go and do detailing out of your truck.
Yeah. Yes.
But you don't do mobile
No.
on ceramics.
No, we'll never do mobile ceramics.
Because of the climate issue?
Climate issue, quality issue, things flying into things, and flashing issues. Like if you're doing a 3 year coating on a car and it typically takes 5 to 15 minutes for it to flash, that's what it should be every day in the shop, generally. But if you're out mobily and you're out there and you're not watching humidity and weather, or the humidity is really high, it's going to flash in like 1 minute, and your 3 year coating is going to go down to like a 1 year coating.
So it needs to be done inside, and be done properly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're almost at 30 minutes, and 90% of that is usable.
Really?
How freaking natural that was.
I know this. Listen, I studied this stuff for years and years and years.
Ready with the questions, you're ready with the answers.
I know this stuff like
Film.
So we have actually a multiple different things. Not only do we have paint protection, but we have wheel and caliper, so you get your wheels ceramic coated, which stop brake dust from penetrating into your wheels and makes it easy for your wheels to clean. Then we have a plastic dye, actually, where we can actually re-dye plastics, not paint them, we re-dye them. We can actually put a plastic ceramics on new plastics, and it will help stop oxidation or stop them from fading. We actually have I call it Rain-X on steroids is what I call it. It's Feynlab glass treatment. You get about a year out of it. I mean, on the front of it, you get about a year out of it. On the side, you get like 2 years. That will actually, they call it covalently bonding to the glass, which means it's the strongest molecule bond between one another, and it will bond, ceramics will bond to the glass. So you'll have Rain-X on your windshield and on the sides of your vehicles. Then we also have window tint, which that stops UV rays, heat coming in, glare, protects your dash, and aesthetics also. It keeps your car looking pretty cool. What else?
I have two questions. One is the windshield treatment.
Yes.
Tell me about love bugs and
Yeah.
that treatment. Does it help with love bugs?
No.
It does not?
No.
Okay. There's not much that can...
No, it's not much,
you can do about that.
Listen, you could put
It makes
people...
it easier to clean them off.
Yeah, yes and no. It makes them easier to clean off. But like, so if you, I had someone ask me this the other day. They got PPF on the front of their car. They're like, what can I do to keep the love bugs off of them? Don't hit them. I mean, honestly, don't run into them. Yeah. But there's nothing you do. But the good thing about it is they're not eating your paint that you left them on there. So And also another thing, squirrel off for a minute. We have, in Florida, we all know that cracked windshields is a thing here. So we actually have a new film by Matico, and it will stop rock chips on your front of your glass, and it will actually tint it too.
Another question about tinting. There's a lot of shops that do window tinting.
Yes.
But there's also a real variety of quality tint materials. Some are very good and some are not, correct?
Yes. So window tint, so we carry 3 different films here. We carry the ceramic series, which is a ceramic film. We carry an IRX film, which is a high performance film. And then we also carry a Stratos, which is like super high performance. The difference between those is our ceramic series film by Lumar is 67% heat rejection, lifetime warranty. And then we go into IRX. Your IRX is about 87% heat rejection. And then which is a 1 mil film, both of those are. And then your Stratos film, that is a 2 mil film. That is 95% to 96% heat rejection, and is probably the best film on the market.
So the material that you use for window tinting at CoaterZ is high-end quality window tint material. Yeah. And that's in keeping with the whole notion that we have here at CoaterZ, which is that quality's number one.
Yeah, I mean, I could sell the cheaper film,
yeah,
but then it just turned purple and whatnot. So
yeah.
I mean, I just kind of keep it. You know, we like quality. Anything that I've ever done, I've done to the fullest, to the best that I can possibly do. And it's just easier if we just do something that works really good.
There's cheaper ceramic material. There's cheaper paint protection film material.
Yes.
But CoaterZ doesn't use any of that.
We don't use none of that.
Yeah. So this is a quality shop.
Yeah. I think when I decided to do this, I decided I was going to do the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that got me here.
And the customers that you attract here, that's why they come here.
Yeah, they buy nice cars and they want to keep them looking nice. That's the whole point of paint protection. You spend $60,000 or $80,000 on one of these cars. It's not that we want to stand out or people want to stand out from one another. Is they just spent $70,000 on a car and they want it to look new when they drive it every single day. Not walk out to the front of your car and say, "God dang, I got another rock chip."
Yeah, right.
I got me another one.
Another one.
And then a year later from now, it looks like it's been sprayed by pepper all over it. I mean, that's the whole point of
with
this.
a shotgun.
Like this one.
Like, yeah, right there. Look at that.
Ceramic without PPF.
Yeah.
So you did go into, like, if somebody gets a full ceramic coating that does not include the windows, that's an add-on. And can they do leather? You do leather add-on?
Yeah. Yes, we can. I can talk about boats too.
Yeah, so ask that question. Ceramic
Okay.
boats.
We're talking about cars, but there is a whole other side to the market, and that's boats, right? And we do a fair number of boats at CoaterZ.
Yeah, we do a lot of boats.
Yeah.
I think we got. Like,
Now, why would somebody have a boat done?
Same reason someone wants the car done. Well, they want to stop oxidation and fading and make it easier for them to clean. And gel coat tends to show fading faster than cars. And once your gel coat starts fading, it's an ongoing never nightmare. So if you buy a brand new boat and you get Feynlab ceramics, because Feynlab stops oxidation, stops fading, you don't have to worry about your boat fading. And it keeps it nice and clean, keeps it beautiful looking, makes it easy for you to clean, and it keeps it glossy.
And that's a special marine product from Feynlab. It's not the same product that goes on the car, correct?
Yeah, completely different product. A marine product versus a automotive product, it's a nanotechnology. The nanotechnology on a car is smaller pores, or the pores are smaller, so the nanotechnology is smaller. And so if you were to take a car product and put it on a boat, it wouldn't work as well because the pores are bigger. And if you take a bunch of small things and put it in there, it will kind of just like fall out, versus making a ceramic coating with a bigger molecule and filling a bigger hole, so it fits better to that.
We just did an older boat that was very faded, and when it was done, it looked like a new boat.
Yeah, That was a 52-foot sea ray.
52-foot boat. So there's some labor that goes into the boats, right? Because like 52-foot boat, there's not a 52-foot Tesla,
No.
right? Yeah.
It
Although
gives me nightmares thinking about that boat. So oxidation for gel coat is like cancer. It's really hard to get rid of. It's super hard to get rid of. So once you start really messing with the gel coat on a boat and it starts fading, it's really hard to stop it. So on that 52-foot Scout, we had to sand that thing down with 800 grit sandpaper, try to get as much of the oxidation out as we can, then sand it to like 1,000, 1,500, and then we had to buff it back to shine, and then we have to coat it. And hope that we got all the oxidation out.
But the value of that Scout must have gone up when you were done with
You
it.
mean Sea Ray?
Huh?
Yes. The Sea Ray, yes.
Oh, is it Sea Ray?
Yes. So that boat went from a really ugly doll boat to a super shiny boat.
Yeah. So the owner of that boat, he spent good money getting it done, but he also increased the value of his boat by a significant
Yeah, I mean, he
amount.
bought the boat to redo it. And he wanted a shiny boat, and he wanted it not to oxidize, and he wanted it to be easy to clean. So we literally sanded the whole entire boat and ceramic coated it with our products, Feynlab's, and it came out amazing.
Really
and it's
good.
going to stay like that. But on boats, boats require a ton of maintenance.
Yeah.
It's just not something you ceramic coat and walk away. You have to maintain it. You have to take care of it. You spend, thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
I hope you take care of it. If not, it's just gonna wear off like everything.
And we do motorcycles,
We do motorcycles.
and we almost did an airplane once, right?
Yeah, we almost did an airplane and a helicopter.
And a helicopter. Yeah.
That's kind of what started it all, right?
Yeah, well, it originally started from Harleys. I did a Harley first.
Did my Harley first.
Yeah, and then I did
My Subaru.
the Subaru. And then
I was his best customer for about
yeah,
for about
first
10
customer.
minutes,
And
I
they're
was
like,
his
Corey,
best
you should start a ceramic coating company.